Good day, everyone. My name is Kathy, and welcome to this episode of the Scrap Crafty Gardener. Today, I am using most of the products I got in my Simon Says Stamp Card Kit of the Month for April. I got that yesterday, and I'm going to play today. And I'm using that yellow cardstock that came with the kit. Let me see if I have the paper over here that tells me. That was the Simon Says Stamp Honey color. And it's really pretty. It's a deep yellow. This is 10 inches by 7 inches. Score it at the 5-inch line. Fold it, crease it with your bone folder. And then I have a piece of, this is Northwoods rubber stamps. This is watercolor paper. Any watercolor paper you have, it will work. This is 6 5/8 by 4 5/8. And it's going to be on the front. And then I have a piece of just plain white cardstock that is 6 3/4 by 4 3/4, and that's going to go on the inside of the card. So I'm going to start by doing some of my Tim Holtz fun stuff here with a Collage medium matte. I'm just going to put a little bit of this into, I have a styrofoam bowl here. I'm doing the stuff. Oh, the lights are flashing. We're having some thunderstorms, so I may lose power, so this may take longer than I even thought. So I'm just going to take this, and I'm just going to do this right on my silicone mat for now. And I have a sponge brush. What I'm going to do is get this on here, and I'm going to put this all over here. Just get it down there. A nice light coat. Cover the whole paper. And then I'm using these pieces of tissue paper that came in yesterday's kit. And I'm just laying that on top. I'm going to lay that on top. And then I'm going to get another coat of this and put it right on top of this paper. Just to kind of like make sure it stays down. We're making a collage is what we're doing. But I'm not collaging the whole kit, just this portion. Now I am going to take some of this washi tape. I like this yellow washi tape, and it goes really nicely with this honey paper. I'm just going to put a piece right across here, and I'm going to put a little bit of this right on top of the washi tape. Now I'm just going to set this aside to dry. Okay, I'm just going to clean up a little bit on here. And that comes right off that mat. And I'm done with the Collage medium. So you can wash out your brush, or I've got a whole pile of these that I got at a flea market, so I'm not worried. I'm just going to pitch that one. All right, now I have a piece of vellum. This is 4 5/8 tall, but it's the width of the paper, which is probably, I want to say 8 1/4 inches wide. Yeah, 8 1/4 inches wide. This is going to go over top of that, but I'm going to stamp on here. And to stamp on vellum, you need to use Stays-On ink or some sort of permanent ink, because otherwise you can wipe it right off. And I want to use this floral image. Now I'm going to stamp, but then I am going to turn it. So my stamped image will be on the inside. So I'm just going to use my guide here. This is the larger piece of paper, and I'm just going to use that as a guide, because I'm going to wrap this around the front when I'm done. But my images will be backwards. I will put my sentiment on the top of the card, but I'm going to stamp and color on the inside. All right, and I'm going to put a couple little butterflies. And see, this is my reverse, so I'm going to have my sentiment probably down here. Which butterfly do I want? I think just 2 butterflies. All right. I have not used these stamps, so I do need to condition them. Well, and I did not condition them, but that's okay. I'll condition these 2. I went right to the ink, which you can do. It just may take a little bit longer to get good clear coverage. And this is my StazOn in Jet Black. Oh, this is going to be trickier than I thought. I hope that's lined up at the bottom, and it is not. Okay. So I will need to wipe these off. This one's pretty good, and this one's good, but this little butterfly over here needs inked again. So I need to get that one lined up as best as I can. And if not, I'll just have to get a new piece of vellum. And let's hope that that one's lined up. And again, all right. Hold that down. I hear you, pumpkin. I'll be up shortly. No, that did not good. I'm going to see if I can wipe this off yet. Nope, too late. I'm going to put you on pause and get another piece of vellum. Okay, I have a new piece of vellum in here. It's the same size. Now, what I need to do this time to prevent that from happening again is to remove the white that is behind it. And, oh, there's the other butterfly. So get them where I want them. This is in the corner. Remove that. Stick the vellum back. Now it should stay down. Okay. And that's not for naught. I will save this and use these 2 on a card. I'm going to go again. Make sure I have it in the right corner. That'll be good, I think. Yep. All right. Vellum is pretty to work with, but it is also tricky to work with. At least for me. All right. That looks good. Now I'm just going to clean off these stamps. And I'm done with this for now. I will need to stamp that image again when it is all done and on the card. Put these back on here. Okay, I'm just going to do a little test check. Yep, that is dry already. So now I'm going to use my stencil. Now I'm going to color this with regular inks, but it's going to be on the inside, so it's not going to rub off on your fingers. But, you know, the way my week's been going, it is hard to say what's going to happen. All right, let's see. This is the stencil for here. And I've got it. Okay. I'm just going to hold that down. I'm going to use some sticky notes because this one is a one-piece stencil and it has your leaves at the same time. Now for the flowers, because the color is going to be muted when you flip it over, I want to use butterscotch for the flowers. So it's a really dark yellow, but it will show up much nicer on the other side. I'm hoping. Okay, that's the yellow. You see that? It looks like a pale yellow on this side. Okay. And then I'm going to, while I'm here, I'm going to do the foliage that went with that. Get it lined back up again. And then I'm going to cover up the flower and use prickly pear. Not yet prickly pear. I am going to use prickly pear, but right now I'm using fresh asparagus for the greenery. And that's just a small area. So it's hard to say because it's pulling up the color of the mat underneath it, which is why it looks kind of grayish yellow there. Now for the butterflies, I'm just going to clean off this stencil and I'm going to move my vellum for just a minute. Make sure my area is nice and clean. Now for the butterfly, these ones are numbered and they go with the stencil. So I use butterfly B2, so that will be on the other stencil that goes with this set. And where did I set that? Not here. That's the way my week is going. Just a moment. It was right here. So I'm using B2, and that is this one. Make sure I have the right flower. B2 is the one with the edging. And this one I am doing in prickly pear. So the butterflies are going to be darker than the flower. And I'm hoping that this will look all right when put together. I have never honestly done this before. So you and I are going to find out together. And then I used butterfly B5. And that's probably on the first stencil. Yes, B5. Okay. Now I'm just going to set that aside to dry. And I see I've got some ink down here. Oh, goodness. Let's see if my adhesive eraser will touch this. Oh, and it does. All right. Going to let this dry. And then that's how it'll look on the other side. All right. I will be back as soon as these are dry. Okay, I am back and these are dry now. So I'm going to get this cut out. I'm going to take this piece and just cut off the extra. Now you could save these scraps if you wanted to and collage them onto something else, I may or may not do that. Sometimes you just get too many scraps. So that could be a good thing, but also bad. Okay. All right. I'm just going to pitch those. Now this I'm going to put on this. So I'm turning this over. And I want to put those butterflies and flowers kind of like that. However, I want to get this lined up. And I'll need to trim down the vellum at the top, I think. Yes, I didn't cut this second piece just to the right size. So now I'm just going to come over and I'm going to crease these. Try and get that straight. That looks good. Well, creasing it in the right spot is always a good thing. All right, now I am going to take this down with some wonderful Scotch tape. And now I'm going to trim off the extra vellum. And so that gives you just a very, very pastel flower and butterfly, and that you can see the wording right through. It's just a very subtle coloring. Now, I am going to put this together, but I do want to stamp on the inside of the card because I really like that flower. So I'm going to put that on the inside. And so this is going this way. It'll be in the opposite corner, which is kind of cool. And I'll use my VersaFine Clair. Now, when you use StazOn, if you see my stamp was black, StazOn will permanently stain your stamp. They do make StazOn cleaner, but it's pretty potent. And I don't mind a black colored stamp. That's perfect. I do need to stamp again, but not until I get my card put together. This is going to go on the inside. And this is a new bottle, so there, it came right out. Make sure I put it in the right direction. Now this, I want to pop up a little bit. But I also want to hold my vellum down somewhat because it's kind of pocketing up. So I'm going to figure out where I'll put a little embellishment. And that's where I'm going to put a little glue dot on the inside. Let me get my glue dots. Just using very tiny glue dots. And I'll put one right here above the butterfly. And I see my sentiment's going to go down here. So I'll put one in the middle of the two butterflies. And then one over here by the flowers. And I can put more on. I just want to get some down now to hold these, to hold the vellum a little flatter. Because you can see the glue dots through the vellum. So if you don't cover it up, you will see it. So not horribly. I'm going to pop this up a little bit. So I'm going to use my foam tape. This will also hold the vellum down on the inside. And just a little bit of liquid glue. Give you a little bit of wiggle room if you don't get your placement just where you want it the first time. Okay, now I'm going to come around. Get that as centered as I can. I see a little bit of trimming I need to do up here. That looks good. Okay, now I do want to stamp my sentiment down in this bottom corner. Now you could even put your sentiment on a piece of paper, and that may be what I do. I'm gonna pull out my dies here and see if I have anything that would look good. Oh dear, dear, dear. Well, if I don't drop them on the floor, that is. I have a round die that I think this happy birthday would fit in nicely. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a white piece of paper right here. I'm going to stamp on that. I don't know why. I thought that this would look nice with a embellishment on the top. So I'm going to put that scroll happy birthday on here. That's good. Clean that off. Definitely not my usual style of card, but I'm kind of liking it. Okay, now I'll cut this out really quick. Yes, that'll fit in there nicely. Okay. Just an oval die. I think this is from Stamp Panda's Build a Pop-Up die set. I have my basic shape dies on the wall behind me. I like that. Okay. And I'll pop this up with some foam dots. And I'm not done embellishing. I want to use one more product from this kit. So I'm going to hold off on this. I'm just going to set that down there. Because what I want to do is I want to take this Distress Texture Paste. If I can get it open here. I think I'll use my tweezers. This goes through the stencil also. And now because the stencil is reversed, I need to reverse my stencil. So I need a palette knife and this texture paste. Really involved project today. But I wanted to do something that I haven't done before to see if it would work. Now this is a glittery textured paste. So I'm just going to put on a light layer, scoop up the rest. All right. No, and I think I stamped the wrong butterfly with that, but that's okay. It's going to look pretty. They're not that much of a different shape. Oh, that could have been a disaster. All right. Now I'm going to come over here. I'm going to wipe this off. I have a wet wipe here. I'm not going to put it on the greenery on the flower, but I am going to put it on the flower. And thankfully, I have to flip this stencil that keeps it out of the butterfly image. And I really have never used this product before. Now, I have read when I was looking up online how to use this product, that if you put it on your ink, it can pull the color out of it so that you don't want to put it back in your jar if it's been colored. You can also take a little bit of this into a bowl, mix a little bit of your ink or other color into it, and color the texture paste. Now that's going to have to dry. And they say to do that by nature. Don't use a heat tool on it. I'm just going to clean up my little desk here. I don't know how long this is going to dry, so I'm going to try embellishing it while I'm waiting for it to dry. We're already a half hour into this. Well, longer for me, but for you. I'm going to put the happy birthday down here. But you know what? I'm going to take the prickly pear. And I'm just going to go along the edge of this. I think it just needs a little bit of character. Put that there. And then I thought these little circles that came with this would look kind of cute. This is $49 in Market, Wishing Bubbles and Baubles. And this came with the Simon Says card kit. So I'm just going to pull a couple of these off. And I'm going to go with the yellow ones. Let's see, and I wanted one here because that's where I put one of my little spots. And then a solid one was down here. And I think a couple over here. I'm going to go with pale yellow for down here. Okay, that is my cards so far. I will come back when this is dry so we can see what it looks like together. See you soon. Okay, I am back. This is pretty much dry. Let's see if you can get it. It gives a wonderful three-dimensional sparkle to the flowers and the butterflies. I think it needs a little something more. This is too white for me, so I'm going to take whatever's left on my brush of the prickly pear, and I'm just going to lightly color over this just to tone it down a little bit, just like that. And I have these gold strips from stamponit.net. I want to put one at the top and one at the bottom. I think it'll just add a little something. Get that straight as I can. And then just trim off them. I'll use my smaller scissors here. is just a golden sticker, is what they are. And one at the top. Some of these are straight lines. Some of them are scalloped on both sides. And this one is just scalloped on the one side. And so I have done that same strip at the top and the bottom. Yes, it just needed a little something extra. Run that down. Make sure I have it straight as can be. There we go. Okay, that is my card for today. I like that texture paste. It's hard to get it to show on camera because you can just see the glossy shine of it, but there's like glitter mixed in with it. So it's really sparkly in person. All right, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Catch you later.